Good afternoon, all. This is Dr. Gopi Krishna Moku. Currently, I'm working as assistant professor at Cochrane Institute of Technology and Science, India. And today's my topic is therapeutic efficacy of mesenchymal stem cells engineered with TAD peptide functionalized nanoparticle in an orthotopic lung tumor model. So, before entering into the topic, so I would like to give a brief introduction on lung cancer. So, lung cancer continues to be one of the most common cancers worldwide, claiming more lives yearly than other cancers like breast, colon, or some and prostate cancers. So, one out of four cancer deaths is from lung cancer, and lung cancer is the leading cancer killer in men and women in every ethnic group. And worldwide, lung cancer incidents are on track to increase by 38% by 2030. And lung cancer mortality is projected to reach 2.45 million worldwide by 2030. And average 5 year survival of patients with lung tumor is 30%, 18%. So these statistics show the requirement of more effective treatment strategy for combating lung tumors. So, if you look at the cancer therapy limitations, so most of the anti-cancer agents are developed to kill or delay the growth of cancer cells. But despite the decades of investigations, advancement in cancer chemotherapy is comparatively slow due to the adverse side effects of anti-cancer drugs on healthy tissues or organs with high metabolism. So furthermore, drug resistance in cancer cells is another major limiting factor for effective cancer chemotherapy. So in addition, chemotherapeutics also show dose-dependent toxicity. All these complications can be minimized with targeted drug delivery uh, to the tumor sites, which improves the therapeutic efficacy with minimal side effects. So, current approaches to tumor-targeted drug delivery systems, they mainly rely on passive accumulation of the drug carrier in the tumor through the enhanced permeation and retention, which is also called as EPR effect. So, followed by internalization of into the tumor cells through either non-specific endocytosis or specific receptor-mediated endocytosis. So, and the tumor leaky vasculature and dysfunctional lymphatics that allow for enhanced formation of nano delivery systems. The thing is, the leaky tumor vasculature and dysfunctional lymphatics, which allows the enhanced permeation of nano delivery systems, also result in some elevated interstitial fluid pressure that inhibits the convective convective transport within the tumor microenvironment. So in addition, tumors have a dense extracellular matrix that also that usually tumors are characterized by the uneven vascular perfusion. Uneven vascular perfusion. See, the outermost regions of have a near normal blood flow, while the inner regions can be vascular. So, in addition, elevated interstitial fluid and rigid extracellular matrix comprise intratumoral solute transport. So, this leads to poor drug delivery to the underperfused regions. Within the tumor and the eventual development of drug resistance. So these physiological and uh, anatomic barriers, they constrain the extent of drug distribution within the tumor and limit the overall therapeutic effectiveness of the drug delivery systems. So here, cell-based drug delivery systems, they can overcome these critical critical tissue barriers faced by synthetic nano delivery systems. So many cell-based therapies are in clinical trials for combating various diseases. I have given few here. So because of their ability to respond cytokine and chemokines gradients, various cell types, including T cells, mesenchymal stem cells, macrophages, and non-hematopoietic mesenchymal stem cells, have been investigated for drug delivery. So, recent studies that have shown that cell-based drug carriers such as mesenchymal stem cells can infiltrate tumor tissues more uniformly, and they can improve the intratumoral distribution of the therapeutic payloads. So, mesenchymal stem cells first isolated by Prince Proprost like cells. Usually, they are spindle kind shaped. These MSCs adherent to tissue culture, plastic mesenchymal stem cells. They show high growth potential on the cell surfaces like CD49, CD44, CD45, etc. So the main advantage with the mesenchymal stem cells as drug delivery vehicles or these mesenchymal stem cells can be easily isolated from adult bone marrow and other sources. And MSCs usually they are low immunogenic and or will not cause any immune response in patient's body. And mesenchymal stem cells are selective in homing to sites of inflammation and cancer. And also the MSCs can be easily cryopreserved for long-term storage. So because of the advantage of these mesenchymal stem cells, they are widely used as they're extensively using in to develop cell-based therapies against cancer. So, mesenchymal stem cells, so they have been shown to actively trophic to both primary as well as metastatic tumors. So, in response to inflammatory signals secreted by neutrophils and macrophages or any other kind of immune cells, so infiltrating the tumor. So these enables the possibility of true active targeting of anti-cancer agents to the tumor tissues. So if you look at the statistics of the number of clinical trials using mesenchymal stem cells has increased since 2008. So, but this trend slowed in past several years and dropped. Reported phase 1 and phase 2 MSc clinical trials expanded consistently from 2006 to 2012, but has plateaued since and decreased in 2018. So although it is difficult to explain this pattern, but it may be due to limited success in achieving outcome measures for efficacy from from 2006 to till 2012, it was gradually increased the clinical trials, but yeah, now it's a bit came down. So next, if you look at the, although these mesenchymal stem cells are efficient in delivering drugs to tumor sites, few limitations are also associated with these mesenchymal stem cells as drug delivery vehicles. So due to the one of the main limitation using these mesenchymal stem cells as drug delivery vehicles is that drug resistance due to the overexpression of various efflux transporters in mesenchymal stem cells. They show drug resistance, and due to these overexpression of these efflux receptors on mesenchymal stem cells, so these MSCs suffer with poor loading payload capacity. If the loading capacity is low, then we need to inject more number of mesenchymal stem cells through intravenously. So it might be difficult if we try to increase more number of mesenchymal stem cells through intravenously. It is it is difficult to load small molecules in MSCs because of their diffusional clearance, because of this diffusional clearance out of the cells. So in addition, and also overexpression of drug efflux uh, transporters, for example, any PGP, P-glycoprotein in MSCs limits to the loading of anti-cancer drugs, and many of which are substrate for transporters. So whatever drug we try to load, so that can act as the substance for these efflux receptors present on the MSCs. So several attempts have been made to load mesenchymal stem cells with anti-cancer therapeutics using polymeric nanoparticles or micelles or liposomes or carbon nanotubes or dendrimers, etc. So, but the major key limitation with these methods is the limited drug loading efficacy. So, to increase the drug loading efficiency of polymeric nanoparticles, so here we have conjugated those polymeric nanoparticles with cell-penetrating peptides. So usually these cell-penetrating peptides are typically 5 to 30 amino acids long and are characterized by their intrinsic ability to bypass lysosomes and enter cytoplasm through macropinocytosis. So among the various cell-penetrating peptides identified so far, so the STAT peptide has been widely investigated to improve the intracellular delivery of various cargos. So TAT peptide fragments usually these are derived from the human deficiency virus 1 protein containing 86 to 102 amino acid residues. So this arginine-rich basic domain 48 to 47 to 57 is responsible for the mm, for the delivery of various biologically active molecules like antibodies, proteins, or nucleosides, etc. So this is the sequence of the small peptide, small TAT peptide. So the arginine groups in this because of these amine groups, so these represents the enhanced delivery of biologically active molecules. So in this present study, so we hypothesized that the surface function of this polymeric peptide, polymeric nanoparticles with datapeptide, this can enable their improved internalization, and they can retain in mesenchymal stem cells. So by there, it can include enhanced payload capacity. And also, we covalently conjugated taut peptide to the surface of nanoparticles, encapsulating paclitaxel, and used these nanoparticles to incorporate paclitaxel in MSA. So, mesenchymal stem cells which were incorporated with the paclitaxel that were used to combat lung cancer in mouse models. So, to conjugate, this is the structure of this is the sequence of the TAT peptide, so which was used in this study. And to conjugate TAT peptide to nanoparticles having surface malonate groups, the primary amine groups in the TAT peptide was converted into free thiol using XPDP reagent and also reducing reagent TCEP. The Mailmate functionalized PLGA nanoparticles loaded with paclitaxel were fabricated by solvent evaporation technique. So here we have used PLGA polymer to make the nanoparticles. So the hydrodynamic diameter and the zeta potential of these nanoparticles were measured by dynamic light scattering technique, and particle size was found to be around 225 nanometer, and the potential was found to be minus 15, around 15 millivolts. And the shape of the nanoparticles were determined by the transport. So to load the nanoparticle, to load the MSCs with paclitaxel. So we have used PLGA nanoparticles. So PLGA nanoparticles are prepared by solvent emulsion operation technique. So the diameter of these nanoparticles was found to be 225 nanometer and potential minus 15 millivolts, and the loading capacity of paclitaxel was around 15 to 16% of weight by weight percentage, and the TAT peptide conjugation to nanoparticles was found to be around 57%. Okay, so here we simply have taken human mesenchymal stem cells, then they were incubated with paclitaxel, nanoparticles loaded with paclitaxel, and we have incubated for 4 hours at 37 degrees centigrade. So and then these nanoparticles were entered into mesenchymal stem cells. Then these mesenchymal stem cells, so, in order to determine the optimal incubation time to achieve the maximum nanoparticle loading in MSC, so we performed quantitative uptake studies. So, the uptake of TAT nanoparticles was threefold higher when compared to that of non-TAT nanoparticles. So here, when we attach to TAT peptide on the surface of the polymer nanoparticles, so they have significantly increased the accumulation of paclitaxel in the mesenchymal stem cells. So here we got the average paclitaxel concentration was found to be around 16 picogram per cell. So one cell, so we were able to load around 16.1 picogram of paclitaxel in one mesenchymal stem cell. So next, the in vitro cytotoxicity potential of these nano engineered MSCs were determined in A549 cells. These are human lung cancer cells using a standard MTS assay. So paclitaxel solution and used as the controls, and IC50 values for nano-engineered MSCs and PTX solution and TAT PTX nanoparticles were in 170 in 1171 MSCs we found 1.9 1.6 nanometer with TAT PTX nanoparticles. So next, nano-engineered MSCs were again characterized for adipogenic and osteogenic differentiation potential. So actually, in general, this uploading should not affect the differentiating capacity of MSCs. So if these MSCs are losing their differentiation capacities, and then these MSCs will not be. To confirm that one, we have done these adipogenic and osteogenic differentiation potentials. So there were no apparent difference in the formation of these neutral lipid vacuoles and calcium deposits, confirming that these nano-engineered MSCs are retaining their differentiating capacity after loading with nanoparticles, mesenchymal stem cells. So using mesenchymal stem cells with drugs, so they should not lose their migration capacity. If they are losing migration capacities, then after injecting in general, they will not be able to evaluate that one. So we have done this cell migration assay. So there was no significant change in nano-engineered MSC. So here we haven't seen that much change in the migration potential of MSCs when compared with the any untreated mesenchymal stem cells. So next, the anti-cancer efficacy of these nano-engineered MSCs were evaluated in orthotopic lung tumor model. So we have first taken mice, and in that we have developed lung tumors by injecting lung tumor cells entered in so after 10 days, so mice their lungs and liver their so after developing these lung tumors in mice, so mice were treated with mesenchymal stem cells and mesenchymal stem cells are loaded with paclitaxel. So they showed a significant inhibition of tumor progression. So here the pink one, so it shows mesenchymal stem cells with attached paclitaxel nanoparticles. So here they have significantly inhibited the tumor growth. Blue one here we just injected paclitaxel solution. So actually, it is a very highly potent anti-cancer agent which is available in the market. So compared to this one also, so our which we injected the MSCs with the TAT PTX nanoparticles, we have significantly delayed the tumor growth. So on mice which were received MSCs and TAT PTX nanoparticles, so they have survived for around 120 days compared to other groups. So other group mice were they died in around 76 to 80 days they have died. But in case of the mice which were received this mesenchymal stem cells with the TAT paclitaxel nanoparticles, they have survived for 120 days. So we have increased the mice bearing lung tumors around 34. Next, we in order to study the mechanism of the observed anti-cancer efficiency with this nano-engineered MSCs, so we have done some mechanistic studies. So one Cas11 and three Cas3. So lung tumors from mice treated with nano-engineered MSCs showed significantly fewer angiogenic you can see the difference between here in case of Ki67 in treated mice, it has significantly decreased compared to untreated mice. So in Caspase 3, it has significantly decreased in mice treated with uh, MSCs and so next, we have done a few toxicity studies also. Since we are injecting for each one mice weight is 20 grams, so we have injected around 2 million MSCs in one mice. So for that, it may show some toxic effects in the mice. Sides of this nano-engineering evaluated various biochemical and hematological parameters in healthy mice. So we have taken healthy mice and we have treated those mice with different groups. So in each group we have taken 5 healthy mice and injected then we evaluated chemical. We did not observe any signs of distress in or significant differences in the body weights of the mice in different groups during the study. So we have done this study almost 1 month. So during this period, we haven't seen any kind of signs of distress or significant differences in the body weights. Also, we haven't observed. And so at particular time points like a day 7, day 18, and we have checked for various evaluated for various parameters like ALT, which stands for the amino transferase ALT. So these are related to the liver functioning. So these our main treatment group, that is MSCs with TAT PTX nanoparticles, so that they didn't show any significant cytotoxicity in mice. So next, we finally, so in this, but in case of when we have evaluated these hematological parameters, so there we have seen some significant amount of increase in platelet count. It is 30 to 60% of increase we have observed in case of our main treatment group. So this was the only side effects we have seen during our study. So and other than these, none of the other hematological parameters were not affected. Only platelets were increased around 30 to 60% were increased in different groups. So here in summary, so we have demonstrated significantly improved drug loading capacity of MSCs by using TAT functional nanoparticles. And these nano-engineered MSCs were they retained in the they retained their differentiating capacities like adipogenic differentiating and yeah, and they have retained their properties after loading with the PTX nanoparticles also. And also these nano-engineered MSCs were efficient in inhibiting tumor growth, and also they have significantly increased the survival of the tumor-bearing mice. So I would like to thank actually this work was done during my postdoctoral studies at University of Minnesota, United States. So I would like to thank my supervisors, Dr. Swayam Prabha and Dr. Jayant Panyam. And I would like to thank my colleague, at that time, my colleague, Dr. Baldev Laik, who helped me a lot in these studies. And also I would like to thank conveners, organizers for giving me this wonderful opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Gopi, for your wonderful presentation. Yeah, we'll see if anyone have any comments or questions. This is the time to ask Dr. Gopi.
Can
Yeah,
I
Professor
ask
Alfred.
a question? Um, also, your result was interesting that when you attach the TAT functional group to your nanoparticle, it will penetrate through the cells. Ne? And my question is, have you discovered any critical size when the molecule can enter a biological cell or not? I mean, is there any upper size where which limits the penetration into the biological cell?
I didn't get your question. Could you please
Yeah.
repeat
So you
again?
said if you attach the peptide to the nanoparticle, then it will penetrate into the cell. But there should be a size limit. If you grow your particle larger and larger, then there will be a critical size from which the molecule cannot enter the cell anymore. Ne? So I want to ask whether you
Yes.
found out the critical size.
Yeah. So our nanoparticle size was around 225 nanometer. So actually, we haven't seen any difference till the nanoparticle size around 350 nanometer. So after 350 nanometers, we have seen some decrease in loading capacity. We have seen, but till 350 nanometer, it was okay.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable.